So here we go, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the final coup de grace. This is so exciting for me as we end the Get the Bet Your Happy Back. But do we end it or is this just the beginning? I want you to know that I'm so excited. I'm an honor to have you go along this journey with me because the truth be told, I have learned each and every time that one of these webinars has come on. So we started off with, being able to stay in the now. Then we moved on to how to forgive and we created the dynamic life that you wanted. Then we learned about shifting your energy and then getting your sexy back. We've talked about the passion test, taking the passion test to help you find what your passion is. Gosh, we've talked about so much, even creating your happy plan. And tonight, I have found a superstar for us tonight because I have brought with you the Activate Queen, somebody that will absolutely not accept procrastination any longer and get you to move into massive, massive action. So I want to tell you about my very dear friend, Lucinda Cross. She is the founder and creator of the Activate movement with more than 25,000 active members spanning across the country. She is the best-selling author of A Corporate Mom, Dropout, The Road to Redemption, Overcoming Life's Detours, Obstacles, and Challenges, and The Art of Activation. This woman is a writer extraordinaire. She's the co-owner of the Supermom Entrepreneur Conference and Expo, celebrity life coach, mentor, and recognized motivational speaker. Lucinda was 18, a college freshman with her entire life in front of her, and with one life-altering choice, it changed. The campus views and the liberating spirit she had that she had grown accustomed to were replaced with the dull images of gray cement floors, painted yellow lines, and the removal of her freedom. Her poor choice, one that she fully accepts as her responsibility, landed her in the federal penitentiary for 4.5 years. Since that time, she's been on fire to inspire, encourage, and uplift women, to teach them how to learn from their experience, tap into their gifts and their greatness, and build a business that makes a difference to them and to others. Lucinda's work is about helping women live the life of fire, fun, and freedom, which has led to nationally advertised features in Essence Magazine, Black Enterprise, Daily News, Ebony, the radio and TV show appearances on ABC Money Matters, NBC, The Today Show, which I am so proud to say that I still have on my DVR, NY1, The Dr. Oz, The Bethany Show, SiriusXM, Tom Joyner, and The Al Sharpton Show. Lucinda Cross is the person women call when they are ready to leverage and monetize their expertise and message, all while creating products, programs, and a signature platform for them. Over the past decade, she has discovered surprising trends about why people and businesses succeed. Today, Lucinda teaches how to communicate and captivate in a noisy world with a short attention span and the tendency to procrastinate. So tonight, we are going to take action to get past your procrastination, reignite your life, take massive and inspired action. And so we welcome my dear friend, Lucinda Cross. Hello, Lucinda.
Hey, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited about this because Lucinda, everybody that's listening to this webinar is here because they have done
Mm.
7 weeks worth of work to get here on learning a lot about themselves, about how they experience life, about what they want out of life. They know it. They
Mm.
now know their passions. They now know how to shift their energy. But tonight, my friend, you are going to teach us how to activate it all, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we're going to really go into tonight.
I'm so excited. And I just have to thank you so much because I know you've been under the weather and you're joining us because this is your vision. This is your mission, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Well, take us down this path and let's learn about how we can activate our vision for our future.
Great. I definitely will. Thank you so much for this time, Vicki. And it's just amazing just to be here and know that they are doing the work. They've done the work. They're on this journey. They're building their momentum. So I'm extremely excited about it. And I really just want to start off. I love Mother Teresa, and there's a poem that she has that kind of sums up what we're going to go over this evening. It's called Do It Anyway. Well, that's what I titled it, but I'll tell you what the poem is. People are often unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you're kind, people may accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Be kind anyway. If you are successful, you will win some false friends and some true enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and frank, people may cheat you. Be honest and frank anyway. What you spend years building, someone could destroy overnight. Build anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, others may be jealous. Be happy anyway. The good you do today, people will often forget tomorrow. Do good anyway. If you give the world the best you have, it may never be enough, but give the world the best you've got anyway. So I absolutely love this, and I think that it really just sets the tone for what we're going to go over today, for tonight. And so just to, you shared the story, you shared the bio, and it's just a testament of how important activation is. Once we have all of the tools in our toolbox, we've done the inner work, we've written down our goals, we wrote the vision down, what is actually next for us? And at this particular time, if we just look around at what's happening right now in life, there's no better time than now to really savor what life has to offer, all of the greatness, all of the light, and becoming that vessel of light that life has to offer. And so let's just go into our presentation. Activating your vision for your future. And here's something that a lot of people forget. They worry about who they are and who they're not, whether they have enough money, whether they don't have enough money. You've done a lot of the inner work. You've written down a lot of the goals and some golden nuggets that has been shared these past few weeks. But I want you to understand that it's not who you are that's the problem. It's who you think you're not. You get that? It's not who you are that's the problem. It's who you think you're not. And many of us, just forget about being that point of light. We forget about being that blessing, about being that support, being brilliant. A lot of us don't just really embrace it. And in order to truly activate your life, you have to just embrace the fact that, you know what? Hey, I am a smart cookie. Hey, I do look good. I do bring some value to the table. And so understanding, Albert Einstein says, everybody is a genius. Everybody is a genius. And what it is that we just have to embrace it. Embrace being a genius. Embrace being brilliant. Embrace being that spark and that light. Own it. A lot of us don't even own our power. So before we can go out and really execute and my brand activate, we have to embrace it. It's not who you think you are that's the problem. It's who you think you're not. Some of us don't even feel that we are worthy enough of the things that we're about to receive. And so for me, being on TV and in magazines and, just thinking that something from my past is used to bring me and springboard me into my future and change my life and my legacy is amazing. But I had to embrace all of it. The good, the bad, the flaws, what I'm not, what I am, the things that I've done, and T.D. Jakes says something. He said, it's not, don't look at what I've done. I'm not what I've done. Just look at who I am. What I've done is not the concern. Who I am and who I'm becoming is more important. So embrace it. I want you right now to even just write down that one word that you're going to at least embrace for the next 7 weeks. So if procrastination is your problem, so you know what, I'm going to embrace being an activator or an action taker. If fear is one of your problems, embrace just being a go-getter. I'm just going to go get it. I'm operating in faith. So whatever it is that you're challenged with, that that have stopped you in the past from moving forward and springboarding on all of this greatness that you have inside, I want you for the next 7 weeks, to just really embrace this new characteristic, this new name. I take on the name as an activator. I was the president of the procrastination committee. So now I embrace it and I take inspired action every single day. I'm deliberate on how I show up in the world and how I show up with my clients. So here, understanding that you have it and you didn't even know it. Many of us don't even realize that we're already winners. And one thing that we'll talk about today before we finish the presentation is creating that vision board, creating that goal board, creating it as if it's already happened. So I want you to understand that you have it and you don't even know that you have it. You have it and you didn't even know that you had it back then. Some of the strength that we have now, it didn't just surface from anywhere. We've always had that strength to overcome. We've always had that strength to push forward. We've always had that strength to make the money that we're making, the information that we need, the resources. So understand that you have exactly what you need. You just have to want to embrace it and really tap into it. Understand that you are holding the light. You're holding that. The image shows the brain in the light bulb. You're holding that electric shock, that move, that thing that'll just open up doors for you. So you have it and you didn't even know it. And I hope this is helping some people.
Oh, it's amazing. This is wonderful stuff so far. I mean, like I'm writing down already, Lucinda. This is great.
And you have to tell me, Vicki, should we chime in? Should we stop? Because as a speaker, I can just go on.
No, you're good. If you don't mind me chiming in every once in a while, this is just great. I mean, I'm sitting there writing down the one word that I'm going to activate on over the next 7 weeks, and I've got to sell my house. So, procrastination and getting this together has been my middle name. So I've got to like really,
Mm.
I'm going to be, I'm a home seller. I'm selling my home over the next 7 weeks.
That's right. That's right. I love it. I love it. I love it. And it removes the cloud of overwhelm, because a lot of times we procrastinate because we feel overwhelmed. We have to move into a place of freedom of saying, you know what, when you look at it, at things and situations and circumstances as if, listen, it's already done. I can change what I can change, and what I can't. But when we work on the things that we can change, it gives you such great freedom. And that means taking small steps at a time. Even if it just means that you just take a small step and write down the number of how much you want to sell that house for. You know, it's just getting you closer to accomplishment. And so just to take some time right now, I want everyone to just kind of be still, because I have a lot of adrenaline. I have a lot of energy. The day is long. So just take the time right now to just be still, to kind of slow down from the adrenaline of the busyness, and make sure that you're operating effectively your mind. You're giving yourself permission to be 100% present during this call, during this webinar, because our message stands on commitment. It stands on having the courage to move forward. It stands on just, I need this energy, I need this activation, I need something to change, you know? And so we all want success. We want to sell our houses. We want to have TV shows. We want the best-selling books. We all want to accomplish goals, and we all have these dreams that we desire to follow, and some of us are already on that journey. But we have to make sure that we're in alignment and understand that everything we need right now is in our hands. So here's something, like I said, we have to just stop the busyness sometimes and give ourselves permission to be 100% present as much as we possibly can. Carve out some time to be present in your life. What needs to be taken care of? What doesn't need to be taken care of? What information have you received these several weeks that you can actually apply in the next month? And which information are you going to use later on? Taking it step by step, not allowing all of this power and all of this information that you receive to just sit down on the seat. Don't sit on your power. This call, you know, Vicki put together such awesomeness that we just really need to activate every single message and word that we receive, and use what you can. So stop buzzing and get busy with living life. A lot of us just buzz around. We buzz like busy bees. And there's a story that I have. It's called the Bee Story, and I've heard it. I hope that you've heard it before too. But it talks about how this guy would walk into his office, and he would look at the window, and he would see all of these bees just buzzing around, all of the bees. And in the window, it was a little screen, and it was a hole, so the bees were buzzing all the way at the top. And then he would come look one day, and he would see all of these bees that have died because they were buzzing around trying to get out of the window. And so he can come back the next day, still a whole bunch of bees, hundreds of bees up there, still trying to get out of the window, between the window and the screen. Many of them have died and they've fallen, wasting their energy. Come back a few more bees, maybe 20 bees. the next day, the next day. And so then he looks closely at the window, and inside the window, between the window and the screen, is a little hole right there in the middle in the corner. So the bees have been buzzing around, trying to get so busy, trying to get out, frantic. They see what they can. They see the trees. They see the wind blowing. They see their friends buzzing past them. They see the flowers that they go to, right? But they're buzzing around and didn't take the time to look that if they just looked a few inches below, there was a big hole in the screen that they could have exited. And so that I'm sharing that story to say that a lot of times we get so busy that we don't even realize that there's a little hole, is that little vision that we should have been focusing on all this time that would have unlocked the world for us. But because we're too busy buzzing around and too busy being a busy bee with everybody else, feeling as if sometimes we're not up to, we have to do what so-and-so's doing, or we need to do more work over here, or we're not seeing results in this area, that we just get so caught up and we exhaust ourselves. And I don't want you to exhaust yourself in the process of activating your life. This is your life to activate. So I don't want you getting caught up with the other bees who are not paying attention to the little hole that can unlock the key, that unlocked the world for them if they just moved a little bit to the left, if they just was able to just shift a little bit. So sometimes making that shift means sitting still sometimes and realizing, what is it that I need to do right now? So there's a little hole that each and every one of us on this call needs to unlock. There's a little hole that we each need to go through and walk through. Some need to soar a little higher. Some need to stretch a little further. Some need to just be aware that it's there. And so it requires for us to get still and say, what is it that I need to focus on? What is my values? What is a high priority right now? Time is going to keep going. Time is not going to stop for anyone. Life is going to keep going, and it's not going to wait for anyone. But how can you just take a moment to see, what is it that I need to do right now? So this way you're relieving the stress. So lesson number one, in terms of getting out of this busy bee mode, come out of the busyness and into productivity. Being productive, seeing results in your own life, being an investor in your own time, being an investor in your own vision, taking the information that you've received and being productive with it, so that we can show Vicki and say, you know what, as a result of this call, as a result of this webinar, this is what I was able to implement in this part of my life. And I like to look at it in 5 different areas. And if you have a pen, write this down, the 5 areas that I would like for you to apply this activation and the information you received: faith, family, friends, finances, and fitness. I'll repeat it: faith, family, friends, finances, and fitness. Regardless of what goals and dreams and visions you have to have that big why. And in order to accomplish them, because life, like I said, life waits for no one, and it has mercy for no one, and you get out of life what you put in, your big why should cover these Fab 5 areas. What are you going to do to take better care of yourself in these 5 areas? What are you going to do? Which area needs the most attention? Which area are you lacking in? Which area would you say, you know what, I'm doing, from 0 to 100, I think I'm about an 80 in my finances. Fitness, I would say I'm about a 60. How can we get 100 across the board? We grade our children. We grade some of our employees, right? But we need to give ourselves a life grade and be realistic with it. Because faith, are you meditating? Are you living that Zen life? Maybe you need to shift a few things around in the house to get some space, declutter. Family, are you spending enough time with your family, your friends? Finances, how are you managing your finances? Is there things that you need to scale back on? Is there things that you need to invest in? And even with the fitness, health is everything. Without that, we're nothing. And so all of this has a lot to do with activating. And there's a lot of things that I can talk about in terms of the art of activation, but the most important thing is to make sure that you're covered in these Fab 5 areas. And this is what you put on your vision board. This is when you would cut out, take a board, and you have your scissors and your glue. In these 5 areas, what is it that I desire and see for my life this year? Is my why big enough to keep me in order? Is my why big enough to keep me activated and motivated? Because we'll get motivated and then the momentum dies down. But in order to keep it going, what is it that we need to ignite? And it starts with just being productive and not being a busy bee. Not being a busy bee. Hope that helps.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's fantastic. When you were talking about um the busyness and not
Mhm.
seeing the hole in the screen, that is such a lesson about everything in our lives, and like finances, not managing our finances, and pouring pouring things into one area, not seeing that there are some other things that we could do to actually make money with it. Our friends, what are we missing there? And faith, for sure. Family, my gosh, are they growing up before our eyes, and we're not being present for them, and we are being busy trying to be good parents but not being with them and present with them. So there's so many lessons in that story, so thank you for that.
Absolutely. And we can lose the connection in these areas, and it really has a big toll on how successful we are, whatever success means to anyone or everyone.
Hmm.
Um, so this brings us to the next lesson: is coming out of the chaos and into calm. Coming out of the chaos and into calm. Some of us just really need to slow down. We allow, we're not in alignment. Sometimes we feel one way, but we think another. We think one way, but we feel another. And, we need that. We need that to be connected in order to operate. So one thing that I want everybody to understand, because when you start activating, guess what? It starts to get intense. So the more intense you feel that your life is getting, the more determined I want you to get. The more intense your life starts to feel, the more determined I want you to get. So when things seem like they're falling out of place, understand that that's a sign for you to get determined right then and there. And this means that you have to be more careful with your time, your energy, and the choices that you make. Careful with how you utilize your three greatest assets: your undivided attention, your intellectual capital, and your resources. And here's a bonus: even your network, really covering those areas. And I want you to think about your goals and your visions and your dreams, and how you're savoring life and living in your present moment. And if I was to ask you a question, my mentor asked me this question, and it just stuck with me, and I use it all the time now. That if I was to give you $86,400 a day, and you had to spend it, no saving, every day, what would you do with that money? Would you spend it? Would you pull it out at the bank every morning and just run around and lose your mind? But the point is that when life gives us 86,400 seconds a day to spend, no saving, no storing up for a rainy day, no, let me just put a little bit to the side. This is fresh, unused 86,400 seconds that we have access to whether we decide we're going to live in a peaceful state of mind as much as we possibly can, in the calm or in the chaos. Do we run with our emotions, or do sometimes we pull back and say, hey, what's really happening right here? What should I be focusing on? Because if we focus on our three greatest assets, your undivided attention, valuable, priceless, your intellectual capital, the things that you know right now that people could not even pay you for because they weren't there when you were crying, when you were working it out, when you had this big vision and dream, when you were filling out those divorce papers, when you were walking out on that domestic violence relationship, whatever it is, that's your intellectual capital, the books you've read, the degrees that you have, things that people just really couldn't even afford. You're real careful about that. So what are you doing with your 86,400 seconds? 86,400 seconds. Are
That's
you seeing
amazing. Right. That's an
yeah.
amazing analogy to put it towards dollars, because we spend our time like if we looked at our time like it would be money that we could never get back. Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember when I was and I'll be brief, I remember when I was in grade school, my English teacher would ask everybody to write poems. I loved writing poems. And I poured my heart out into this poem. And during the presentation day, I'll never forget, his name is Mr. D'Alessandro. I stood up, I read my poem proud to the class, clapped, my friends was clapping, and it just for some reason it just seemed silent. And they told me, that after the class, my Mr. Alexander was excited. Some of my friends were excited, but then a lot of the classmates weren't. And so what I started to get was this bully moment that felt really uncomfortable, and I was proud at that moment, and it was like, oh, you're trying to show off. You're trying to show off. And so for me, the chaos was building because there was a lot of people in my face, and at that moment I had to sit calm and understand that this is my light that's shining, and people are not going to be comfortable when you shine your light. So even in grade school, it starts with people trying to dumb your light down and make you feel uncomfortable about who you are and what you bring to the table. And so I want you to just really be comfortable going in the beginning of our slides with embracing your shine, embracing who you are. That'll help you stay calm, because you'll say, you know what, I really don't have time for this. I'm better than this. People are not going to be comfortable with my greatness. People are not going to be comfortable when I'm doing good, and not everybody is set up to support me and understanding that. So, Bill Cosby says, in order to succeed, your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure.
Right.
Your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure. And so even back then in grade school, I wouldn't even show how smart I was because I didn't want a different reaction. I wanted to play as if on the level of the cool kids. And
right.
So I watered down my success. This brings us to lesson number 3. Step up to the seat of responsibility. Woo. What do you mean by that, Lucinda? What does that have to do? Because responsibility, being responsible, showing up. How are you showing up in the world? How are you showing up? How are you being you? How are you being free? There's a lot of heavy messages. When I mean heavy, like they just weigh on you, that's out there now. Heavy marketing, heavy messages. Even the media will play on our emotions. One minute they'll tell us things are great. The next minute they'll tell us things are horrible. The stocks are up. The stocks are down. There's a famine in the land. Oh, well, we found a cure. And so stepping up to the seat of responsibility and understanding what can you do to change your portion of the world with your gift, your talent, your dream, and your vision. How is that gift going to change even your legacy within your own household? Because we get so, and I'll speak for myself, I got so caught up in saving the world with my vision and my dream. I'm in business because I want to empower the universe. Okay, that's not going to work. I need to focus on my family. That's the legacy. If I can change one person in my family, if I can work on my daughter, I have saved millions of people, because she's going to be connected to so many people. And so if I can change my son and his mindset and help to cultivate the greatness inside of him, I've just changed the nation, because he's connected and there's things that he's going to do. So sometimes we just have to start at the home base. And so being responsible, taking us back to the Fab Five, how are we being responsible? If we're not taking care of our health, are we being selfish to the lives that we live for today? So if I'm sitting here eating all the wrong foods, then that means that I'm telling my kids, you know what, I really don't, I'm really not interested in living long. I mean, let's be real. I'm really not interested in living long because I refuse to be disciplined and taking responsibility on what I need to eat. So therefore, they have to suffer because I'm not taking care of myself. Same thing with the finances. How are we being responsible with our finances, with our family, with our friends, even with our faith? Is your mindset right? Or are we just snapping all over the place because we're frustrated about what's happening around our life? What's happening around your life is not what's happening in your life. It's not what's happening to me. So taking responsibility is understanding that this is just life happening, but this is not happening in my life. In your life is something inside. You control that completely. And I hope we agree with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is great
Good.
stuff. This is so good. I'm so enjoying. I'm writing, and still I've circled that 86,400 seconds.
Because it's so serious. It's so serious how we spend our time. And let's go to lesson number 4. Well, there wasn't lesson number 4, but there's champion here. Understanding this champion lifestyle, this champion mindset that we have to have when we're activating our vision, activating our life, activating our faith, family, friends, finance, and fitness. One is using your potential, using it to the max. I max out my potential. I max out my faith. Sometimes I just walk in there. I don't know how things are going to happen. Getting out of the perfectionist zone. Getting out of it, if it's not perfect, I'm not going to do it. Some things you just have to learn along the way, and making sure that we're on training ground. So use your potential. How are you perfecting your craft? Whatever it is. You bake cakes, I hope you can make a really, really good cake. Just work on it, work on it, work on it, and keep putting it out there. So using all of your potential, using it all up, because it's just like a bank. When you use it up, you're going to get replenished and there'll be more. Sometimes we feel like, oh, we're going to lose some things if we use it, or if we try it, someone may get my idea. No one can get your idea. It's your idea. You created it. You can create another one tomorrow. We have $1,000,000 ideas that pass our mindsets every single day. It's just which one we decide to grab onto if we grab on one. And that's a whole different conversation of stepping over coins, stepping over dollars to grab coins.
Right.
But using your potential. Are you using your potential to the max? Maxing it out. Looking fear in the eye and saying, you know what? Not today. Not today. Procrastination in the eye. No. Fear, uncertainty, doubt. Looking it straight in the eye. Not today. I had a bowl of courage this morning. Not today. If you have to, I'm just going to share a picture. I eat a bowl of courage in the morning for the kids. And it's like, Mom, this is first the place. I know this is courage. You're going to go to school and you're going to feel courageous. But sometimes we have to go back to the basics. Number 2 is position yourself. Get in position to receive greatness. Get in position to activate. Get in position to be ready to receive what life has to offer. Love, happiness, health, wealth, resources, the team. Everything that you need is there. Everything that you have is right there at your disposal. You just have to be in position to receive it. If you're looking down and your shoulders are down and you're constantly worrying, you just may miss your moment. Don't miss your moment because you're not in position. Be charged up and ready. I know they're like, Lucinda, yes.
Yeah.
The other one is to feel the pain and keep pushing. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, there's some new ideas. You're reinventing your brand. It's a lot of work. Yes, it's going to be tough because you're writing this book and you have writer's block and there's lots of distractions. Yes, feel the pain and keep pushing anyway. As you give birth as a mom, once you feel that pain, it is go mode. There's no turning back. You can't say, you know what, I think I want to, can we forget this? Can we just put can we just go back to the embryo? Can we just go back past, a few months back? No, it is go mode. So when you feel that pain, and it can be a distraction, sometimes, my house, excuse my language, all hell will break loose when it's time for my conferences or when I'm getting ready to launch something major. I'm like, really? Something happens to a family member, I get sick, something happens to the car. But I say, you know what, this is a pain. I'm going to keep pushing anyway. And you just keep pushing. So I hope that supported someone today, because a lot of times we'll just give up. So are you going to activate? Who are you going to activate? What are you going to activate? When are you going to activate? Where are you going to activate? And how are you going to activate? Think about this, the who, what, when. We've been through this in grade school. Who, what, when, where, and how are you going to activate the Fab 5 areas? How are you going to keep pushing? Oops, I think I made a mistake. How are we going to just keep pushing and moving forward, embracing
the technical
life.
Challenges, the technical challenges of doing a webinar. I tell you what, it is. This is not the first boo-boo, and it won't be the last. But the one thing that I will say is that it is, first of all, it's fabulous, and I thank you so much for everything that you're doing. But technical glitches happen, and we just breathe through them, because we're gonna figure out where your slide is, and we'll pick it right back up. So what you got going on?
Okay. Do you see the slide now?
I do. I see your beautiful face on that slide.
Okay, so that was the end of the who are you going to activate, what are you going to activate, where are you going to activate, how you're going to activate. That's the end. It is a day-by-day process.
Well, what I wanted to talk to you about, because I know, Lucinda, that so the who, what, where, when, and why, we actually worked on those 5 fab areas, and anybody else that had anything else, we did it. Your vision boards not only are amazing, but your vision boards got you in Essence Magazine. Your vision boards got you on the Today Show. Your vision boards help people change their lives. So, what I wanted to talk to you tonight about, Lucinda, was what do our people need to do? Because I've done them myself, and they're amazingly powerful if you will open yourself up to the idea that putting little pictures of stuff that you see in magazines onto a poster board make a difference in your life. Can you go through what the process of how activating on those areas of your life, how that actually works, and what putting together that vision board and activating on that vision board would look like?
Absolutely. So, as I stated in the beginning, it's putting things down as if it has already happened. So, for me, with my vision boards, the things that I put on the vision board, which is from, I call it, my visual goal board. It's where I can actually look at the goals that I have accomplished already, or looking or on the way to accomplish, speaking in the future. So I put on there covers of magazines that I wanted to be on. I have, you can create several different boards. I have a relationship board for my marriage. I have a professional board. I have a goal setting board. My kids make boards, and so I'm doing some health boards for another company. And so put on the board at least your Fab Five areas and where you see yourself in those areas. What would you like to have come to fruition in those specific areas? It requires energy. It's not just cutting and pasting. You really sit back and think, why are you putting this on your board? What does it look like when you achieve this specific goal? What is the goal? Where is it that you would like to travel, and when? Being very specific sometimes with dates and time. Hey, I want to leave my job. When do you want to leave your job? Okay, and so it keeps you focused, and it should give you energy when you look at it every single day, that you're getting closer and closer to accomplishing something. And it's a great feeling to feel confident in yourself when you accomplish something. So I looked at my board, but I also actively did the due diligence. What kind of woman is in Essence Magazine? What kind of business do they write about in Black Enterprise? What kind of people are on these shows, the Today Show, making sure that my message is relevant. So I'm doing the work. And even as soon as I put those images down, I'm feeling as if I'm like, oh my gosh, I could see the audience. I can hear the cheers. I can hear them saying camera one, camera two, so I'm literally putting the energy as I put it on that board, because I know one day I'm going to wake up not feeling so lollipop and gumdrops, and I'm going to need that energy from that board to feed back to me.
Well,
So,
tell our audience about your vision board with Essence Magazine.
So with Essence Magazine, I cut out a picture of Alicia Keys, put my picture in the front of the cover, and that's what success looked like to me. And I said, one day I'm going to be in Essence Magazine. I'm going to be on the cover. I'm going to be in the magazine. Showing up at an event that I wasn't paid to speak at, showing up, just being there, didn't have an attitude. Remember, I said being in position. And so I was just in position, just waiting, knowing that I was there to receive something. And ended up meeting one of the writers for Essence. She asked me a question. Didn't even know who she was. She said, I'm working on, because everybody's networking. I didn't get an attitude because they had me as the speaker all the way in the back, and I'm wearing these fancy shoes that was hurting my feet. But I'm in position, ready to receive. And she comes and she walks over to me and she says, Lucinda, I'm working on this piece on vision boards. And I would like to, I'm working on this piece on vision boards, and it's just hard for me to find. Hard for me to find some information. I know Oprah had something on her site. I can't find it. And so I said, what, this is real funny. And so to myself, and I said, what, I actually have pictures of vision boards in my house, in my home. We just moved, but I have them up. She said, are you serious? I said, sure, I'll send you some pictures. If you have any questions you want to ask about the vision board. She said, well, I write for Essence. I almost just started flying around the room. That's how excited I was. Do you not know, in less than 2 weeks, Essence was in my house doing a full photo shoot for about 10 hours for a spread inside of their January issue. Mind you, the year before was January issue where I took out Alicia Keys' face. What was that, 2014? I took out Alicia Keys' face. 2015, Lucinda Cross was inside. Page 84, page 85 was about vision boards with Lucinda Cross and her story. since then has been springboarding and connecting in an alignment with everything else that's on my vision board to complete the vision that I put up there.
Because, Lucinda, I love your story because, and you know my story, and I've shared my story about my Oprah Winfrey moment because you and I both you created that moment with Essence Magazine, not the day you were in the room with that reporter. You started the wheels in motion years before, or a year before, when you put your picture on the Essence Magazine cover because that was your goal. And you know what? There was the Paulo Coelho quotation that says, when you want something, the universe will conspire on your behalf to
Mm-hmm.
make it happen. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what this is all about. And that's why I want everyone on this call to understand that what you put your attention on grows stronger in your life. So if you want to put the attention on all of the negativity in your life, if you want to put the attention on how much you hate your ex or how much you don't have money or how much you can't do this or you can't do that, that is what is going to continue to grow. And when you put something on your vision board with the things that you want and the things that you are going to work towards, baby steps every day, because you know what happened, Lucinda, you put your picture with Essence Magazine on your vision board and you put it up, and because you put it up every day, girl, you were taking baby steps to getting
Mm-hmm.
into Essence Magazine, whether you realize it or not, or whether our listeners realize this or not. That's what happens when you have these visions in front of your face every day. You slowly, without even realizing it, it is in your subconscious. It is not something that you actively sat there and said, I'm getting on Essence Magazine today. I'm getting on Essence Magazine today. No, it was just something that was
Nope.
there in front of you, and you took the steps that made that happen. And why was it not a surprise to any of us? Your friends from South Florida were screaming when we heard that you were going to be in Essence Magazine. Why? Not because we were surprised, but because we knew it was your destiny, right?
Yes.
I've got
Absolutely.
goosebumps. I've got goosebumps because
Absolutely. And it.
we knew that you were destined for that. Why? Because you take those baby steps every day towards your goal. And the same thing, if you got, I don't want to bore anybody with my Oprah story, but that story, that Oprah moment for me, being on stage with Oprah
Powerful.
was the reason I'm here today on the Cafe D, because I realized that if I could make that happen, I could make anything happen. And I am telling everyone out there that you can have your own Oprah moment. You can have your own Essence Magazine moment or your own Today Show moment, whatever those moments are for you. Don't you think, Lucinda?
Absolutely. And it's like you said, set big goals, but take baby steps. And that's what it was. In order for me to even activate my vision and even activate my life, I had to be willing to do what others won't do. A lot of people are not willing to do the work. And, and that's when your tomorrow looks different. When you do what others won't do today, guaranteed you'll have things tomorrow that others don't have.
Oh, that's a good one, Lucinda. When you do, I'm writing that down. When you do what others are not willing to do, you will have what others don't.
Absolutely. When you do what others are not willing to do today, you'll have the things that you desire tomorrow that others don't have. So I like the way you just put it.
I
Yes.
love that. I'm writing that down. So when you are creating a vision board, would
Mhm.
you say, and I've got somebody that's got, oh, okay. Somebody's actually has a thought to add. Oh, she's just given us she says, no question, just a total high five. I've gotten a couple of it. This is awesome. This is amazing. So good. I'm glad you guys are liking this. So, Lucinda, when you're making your vision boards, because you have them by categories, don't you?
Yes, I do. I
Okay,
have them
I
by
don't, and that
category.
I think is my mistake. I have like a big soup on mine. So
Hmm.
do you think that it's better to create it? And I know it worked for you to do it that way. I've never thought about doing it that way. And it seems like it's probably, more time consuming to do it that way, but probably you're a little bit clearer. You're probably a lot more clear about what your goals and your visions are for each area of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no right or wrong way because people will get caught up in saying, "Oh my gosh, well I have to do it, that way." There is, I coined the activate way, but
Right.
there's no wrong or right way to do it. But I do say if you can cluster and group certain things. So your travel is in one specific area. If love is something you're seeking, it is in one specific area. What does love look like? So just briefly, even before I got married, I was looking for a man who was similar and had a lot of the traits like my father. And I did, I cut out images of long-standing relationships, stories of 50-year marriages, 60-year marriages. What did that look like? And so I even put Hillary and Bill Clinton because I said, they went through some stuff, but she's still stuck there. I put the Obamas up there. So, it's in thinking of what does these things look like to you and begin to cluster them. And so I cluster mine within the Fab Five. You can cluster them based on what's important to you. Add your picture to your vision board. What is the goal? What is the year? The affirmations, what does that mean to you? Those words that you put up there. So for me, I was at this time, this specific vision board that I did where it's Essence and the Today Show and NBC and all this other stuff, my goal was to build my platform, my visibility and media platform for Activate. And so it was my Activate board for my business. And I put all of the things so I put my books, everything that fell under Activate and the brand. So I put the books that I was going to write. You know what? I'm going to write a book. It's going to be a bestseller. Cut out clippings of New York Times bestseller. I put different places I wanted to travel. I put down the sponsors that I wanted to sponsor me. I put down the speaking engagements, the big ones that people would say, well, hey, how you think you're going to get on that stage? I put those down. And so it's really just clustering them, and it worked for me. And then the mindset, programming that hard drive at the top of our heads for success is one of the major keys.
I think that that's fabulous. So, like, I've done a couple of, and you tell me what products you use. Do you use like a poster board? Do you use books? Do you use something that's kind of temporary, like a bulletin board? What would you suggest? And what are some of the products that we need?
Absolutely, and I should have had the list for you, but hope everyone
Well,
is
you
does
know
it
what?
on
If you'll send
writing.
us a list, I will put that when this goes up onto our membership area. I will put the list, and I will put a little worksheet too that I've been
Absolutely.
taking notes on. So, what would you say that
Okay,
we all need to go out and purchase today?
definitely a foam board. I love the foam boards. The foam boards are heavy. You can tack things onto them, and it just instead of the rolly flimsy board, the foam board. Believe mine is about 24, something like that. Markers, scissors, glue sticks. I love glitter, so I get glitter glue. The cardstock paper, you can get that from any one of these craft stores. It's just colorful background paper so that you can, if you are going to cluster, you can give something a different color. So my health section is green on the background. My Activate, of course, it's red on the background to stand out. And so they have this real cool scrap paper that you can use. I get that. I get it's cardstock paper too. It's pretty tough. Good weight to it. You get paper clips, tape. I have a folder where I keep my magazine clippings because I always purchase magazines. Get a few magazines that you would like to cut out. Oprah, Fortune, old magazine, Fortune, Health, Travel. Some Post-its. I love to use Post-its because after you create the vision board, I like to write down the goals on a Post-it right next to that area. Sounds busy, but it's fun. Your vision board is supposed to be busy. It's not supposed to be a fancy collage that you're putting in the museum. So just be free and go back to being that kindergarten girl or boy. And some positive word stickers. They have all of this at the craft store. It's fairly easy. The work is in doing the work. It's not so much creating the vision board, but
Okay.
actually doing the work and creating that mindset.
Right.
So, and your markers.
Yeah, so the work was what we did the first half of this webinar, right? Was the thought process
Mhm.
behind it and the actual the 7 weeks that we've been together now, getting all of that out of us, what we want. And that's what is so hard for so many because so many people don't know what we want. And I'm hoping that through exercises like this week after week that we've been able to slowly pull out what it is that you want for your life, for your future. And that's why I came to you, Lucinda, because if anybody is an example, because your vision board, isn't your vision board in your article with you at Essence Magazine? Or was that on the
It's in
Today
the
Show that you put you
it
brought that to?
they have all of the boards inside of Essence Magazine. They actually put all of the boards in Essence Magazine. They have them on the Today Show. I just got them back from another daytime feature show that'll be posted soon. So it's yeah, the boards are famous. They send cars to pick up the boards.
Well, and you know what, and that, but more importantly, the boards are famous because the boards work,
because
and that's
because the
what I
boards
want
work.
everybody to understand because it helps you. Everybody's been hearing for weeks and weeks what you focus on grows in your life. When you can focus on something, and you told me, I think it was you that you keep yours like in your closet or something. Where do you keep yours?
Well, mine is I have some in the hallway, and now I have some in the living room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I
because
have them like
somebody I was
right where.
talking to actually keeps them, they don't like the idea that everybody can see them. So how do you feel about that? What is your thoughts around
My
accountability, or do you like kind of keeping it to yourself?
my family needs to see it. It needs to
Mm.
be out in the open so that they can see it. They need to know that mommy still has, it's okay to dream about pink unicorns. It's fine to have glitter glue. It's so my kids need to see it. My husband needs to see the ambition. He needs to see what I'm focused on. Maybe there's something that he may see that he walks past and says, you know what? I'll support her on this. She's focused on this. This has been on her board year after year. I'm going to help her get closer to this vision and dream. So I love when people look at it. And when they come to my house, they look and they say, oh man, I want to create one. Or sometimes one person came to the house and they said, hey, I have a connection. I'll connect you because your vision is your vision. And yes, you protect it and you guard it, but it's your vision. And I like it to have space to breathe. And, when the sun shines, it's shining on my vision board and it keeps me focused too.
Oh,
It's
I
not a
love.
Ouija board. It's not something I worship,
Oh,
but it's just something that motivates me and my family.
it's your why. It's
It's
what
my
right.
why.
It's your why, and if we can keep everything in front of us that is our why and what we need to do and what we want and why we want these things, we can reach those things because last time, I'm going to say this at least for tonight, what we focus on grows larger in our lives. Lucinda, you are so awesome. Would you do me a favor? I right on this is slide it says your website is www.lucindacross.com. Everyone, please reach out to Lucinda. Lucinda, you are traveling across the country. You are actually doing some international things. And what are the goals? What is it? Tell our listeners how it is that you can help them and what it is that you do day to day that they can interact with you and get in touch with you.
So besides being known as the activator, my work is based on being this go-to girl to get it done. So if you are struggling with getting it done and just taking action, setting goals, putting together this personal development or professional development plan, I am the person to contact because I can push you in that area, taking what you have and helping you to actually use it, maximize it. Some things will throw away and do away with, and some things will just create new and reinvent something in terms of, who you are, your brand, your mission, really digging deep into your purpose so that you can live in that space
I love that. And I've seen
and
you.
profit from it.
Yeah,
And
you know what?
profit
And
from it. Hmm.
right, exactly. And um, so you help women in their business and their missions and setting their lives afire, right? Let them live with passion behind their mission. than
Yeah.
monetizing their mission. And I think that that's so amazing. Lucinda, thank you. I am so forever grateful for you being here tonight. I knew you were the right person to bring this home, to activate our vision, to get us out of a state of procrastination and into just active movement, right? Putting it
Yeah.
down, getting those Fab Five areas, spending our 86,400 seconds, Joy, because we don't get them back. Spend them, activate on them. Don't let them go by unused. And I thank you so much. And I hope that everyone has learned something in the last, these 8 series, the webinars that we've been doing on finding your happy again. I hope that this helps you bring it home. I hope you'll go out there, get to Michael's, get to whatever your craft store is, create your vision board, create the life you want, and look at it every day, because I promise you, and I said I was not going to say it again, what you focus on only grows more in your life. And on that note, I am going to say good night to everyone. Lucinda, you have been awesome, and I love you. And you and I
Love
will
you
chat
too.
soon. Good night, everyone.
Good night.